Hey everyone, tier list of best classes of Throne and Liberty. In front of you, you can see all possible 21 combination of weapons which we currently have in the game. So let's see what are the best combinations over there on servers in Korea and also one day in the future for global release of this game. Before we start, let me just say subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of Throne and Liberty videos in the future. Okay, before we get directly to the point, before I talk about everything here in details, I need to explain this is overall tier list. So this is not only PvP tier list or only PvE tier list. This is overall. I'm not talking here about only damage classes, healing classes or tanking classes. I'm talking overall about quality of different kind of builds or classes. So let's start this evening. You can see here first on my list, Sword and Shield Wand. Within latest new update on servers in Korea, we have get many changes to the game. Nevertheless, I will still put Sword and Shield Wand combination as S tier. Why? This is a Paladin build. This is a Paladin build still absolutely viable in the game. In general talking, in this combination of weapons, if you are a new player to this game, you'll be able to tank because of Sword and Shield and also to heal and make some damage because of Wand. So one really beautiful combination of weapons, in generally more made for PvE, nevertheless viable in general gameplay. So like I said, I will not divide this list into PvP or PvE classes or damage classes or healing classes or tanking classes. This here is a tank kind of combination and also you can heal your party. Paladin build absolutely still viable in the game on servers in Korea. Within latest new update, I will show you some changes regarding different kind of classes and weapons, but Sword and Shield Wand absolutely belongs to S tier. Let's go forward with Greatsword Longbow. This combination of weapons, Greatsword Longbow, was one of my first combinations which I have played over there on servers in Korea. Actually, I have played this combination, that was the first combination which I have ever played in this game, right after December 7, 2023, when this game was released over there on servers in Korea. Now, I will put this combination in B tier. I'm kind of in between A tier and B tier, but I will still put it in B tier because it's not a bad combination to play. Let me explain. So Greatsword as a melee weapon and the Longbow as a range weapon, they are working really good. However, if you want to play some kind of melee class, then you will combine Greatsword with something else. Maybe with Dagger. Probably with Dagger. Longbow, if you want to play, for example, some kind of range class, then you will combine also Longbow with some other right secondary weapon. Greatsword Longbow is neither here, neither there. It's melee range combination of weapons. It feels good under the fingers. However, regarding damage output, because obviously on this combination of weapons you'll be DPS. If you want to play DPS, there are some much better combinations of weapons in this game. Greatsword Longbow feels good under the fingers, but still in my opinion B tier. Let's go forward with another amazing combination. We have here Sword and Shield Dagger, and I'll put it here again on S tier. Is it only because of Sword and Shield? No, it's also because of Dagger, because Dagger is still the best secondary weapon in Throne and Liberty. If you are new to this game, check some dedicated videos on my YouTube channel. I have explained already, but in short, Dagger have amazing passive abilities which are very highly increasing your critical damage and damage overall, and also some active abilities of the Dagger like stealth, like ambush strike, shadow strike, special skill, also few other skills like poison are really good. So regarding Dagger, still it's the best secondary weapon in the game. Even with all the nerfs and changes regarding balance between weapons, Dagger is still there as the best secondary weapon. And also, what is important to say regarding Sword and Shield Dagger? This combination of weapons, specifically Sword and Shield Dagger, I can play a lot. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing under the fingers. Combination of different kind of skills, rotations are really melting into one another. It feels really good under the fingers when you play it. So Sword and Shield Dagger, check it out, viable in general gameplay. Let's go forward with another extraordinary combination. I mean, I need to put this also here on S tier. Sword and Shield Greatsword, it's extraordinary. Just extraordinary. I don't know what to praise more, right, regarding this combination of weapons. Sword and Shield Greatsword, currently on servers in Korea, still feels really good. You want to play massive sieges, PvP in generally, you can do it on sword and shield greatsword. You wanna go farm mobs in open world, go sword and shield greatsword. Feels very tanky. You can go in front, and even that we don't have dagger here as a secondary weapon, sword and shield greatsword absolutely currently in the game. I have also seen many Korean players are playing this combination of weapons. Sword and shield is still very powerful in combination with greatsword. One of the universal combinations in this game. If you want to play one really good class, you will not be wrong with sword and shield greatsword. There are many interesting combination of weapons here. You can see all the combinations currently available in the game, and I don't want to spend too much time on each combination because then this video would last probably 1 hour. So let's move to Longbow Dagger. I mean, it's looking like I will put everything on S tier. I'm not going to put everything on S tier, don't worry. Longbow Dagger, absolutely S tier. Why? There is a simple explanation for this. So, Longbow Dagger combination belongs to S tier, not only because, again, Dagger is here as a secondary weapon, which will highly increase your crit damage and damage overall because of poison, because of shadow strike. That's not the reason. Reason is next. Longbow Dagger is one universal combination of weapons. Now, you'll be able to play PVE and PVP on this combination of weapons. So, you'll not excel, you'll not be the highest DPS, for example, but you'll have very good DPS in general, overall talking. You will make damage on the boss. For example, I will talk a little bit later about Greatsword Dagger. You can feel when you are playing Greatsword Dagger, for example, that you have certain amount of time when you are peaking with your damage and then going down. On Longbow Dagger, you have more sustained DPS over time, damage over time, which you are doing, not a dot, I'm not talking about dot, I'm talking about real DPS on Longbow Dagger is very nice. So one very universal combination of weapons, range kind of combination, right? Longbow Dagger, I will probably play it also as my main combination for global release. Check it out, Longbow Dagger viable in PvP and in PvE. You'll be very good. Let's go forward. We have here sword and shield crossbow. And this is a kind of strange combination. I have to say, I have seen people playing this combination, and to be honest here, let's put it here in B tier. You know, I didn't play this combination of weapon that much, but to be honest, something feels wrong with this combination of weapons. So, if you want to play as crossbow with a secondary weapon, maybe greatsword crossbow, I'll talk about greatsword crossbow a little bit later. I have seen many players playing greatsword crossbow, especially in PvE, would be viable. Now, sword and shield, still very powerful as the main weapon. However, crossbow as a secondary, I mean, if you want to play sword and shield, then you have much better combinations for secondary weapon. Maybe wand, maybe dagger, maybe greatsword, maybe almost whatever than crossbow. Sword and shield crossbow is melee and medium range combination of weapons. You can make damage, but you'll make much more damage on some other combinations, so I'll put it here in B tier. Let's go forward with sword and shield staff. And I was thinking to put it also here in B tier, but I will not put it here in B tier. I'll put it in A tier for a simple reason. Staff. Now, regarding staff, if you're following my YouTube channel, then you know that within latest and actually previous new update on servers in Korea, we have get skill specializations. Now, staff have become really viable, very strong weapon in general. I'll talk about staff also a little bit later, but sword and shield staff, again, feels a little bit strange as a combination of weapons because we have here one melee, more defense kind of weapon, and then we have a range weapon, staff, damage kind of weapon. Still, sword and shield staff feels much better, at least to me, than B tier, much better than sword and shield crossbow, so I will put it here on A tier. Viable in general use. Check it out, sword and shield will provide for you high defense stats. So survivability, staff will provide for you high damage output. Very nice combination of weapons. I will not put it in S tier because it's not excelling specifically. However, sword and shield staff, check it out. Let's go forward with greatsword staff, and again I'll put it here in A tier. I don't want to put it in S tier. I didn't play this combination that much. I did try a little bit. Under the fingers, honestly here, sword and shield staff felt much better for me than greatsword staff. However, check it out again, one combination of melee and range kind of a weapon, right? Viable in the game to some point. What you need to know, that currently over there on servers in Korea, basically any weapon combination, almost any class in the game is viable if you know how to play it well and if you have good gear. You need to work on your gear, enchant your gear, traits, runes, everything in generally. If you gear up, yes, all depends on your gameplay style. Many different kind of weapon combinations are viable. But I have to admit again, same like sword and shield staff, sword and shield crossbow, and greatsword staff, this combination feels a little bit off. But then again, I will not ignore it. I'll put it here in A tier. Feels pretty decent. A tier, maybe B tier. Honestly, it's between B tier and A tier. Not sure where to put it here, honestly. Let's put it here on the end on the B tier, right? It's not one of the best combinations in the game, for sure. Let's go forward with greatsword crossbow, which many players would put here in A tier, but I will not do that. I will put it here in B tier. You know why? Let me explain here. Now, greatsword crossbow, specifically this combination of weapons, I have seen played by many players. But this is important to say, viable mostly in PvE. Regarding PvP, no, it will go here, right? So I'll not put it here. When we are talking about PvE, only PvE. Greatsword crossbow, yes, you can put it here in A tier. You can enjoy in the game. It feels really powerful. I will put it in A tier, absolutely. However, in generally, I'll put it here in B tier. It's so-so, right? It's so-so. It still feels a little bit better than greatsword staff and sword and shield crossbow. Yes, it does. Absolutely. So, when I'm thinking now a little bit more, this combination of weapons feels much better than greatsword staff or sword and shield crossbow or greatsword longbow. I'll put it here as A tier. Only because of PvE, what you can do. Very nice damage, pretty high survivability. You can feel that you cannot die. I have tried to play it a little bit, not much. You almost feel like you're playing sword and shield. Almost feels that you are playing sword and shield instead of greatsword. You cannot die on this combination. Very high survivability. Let's go forward with greatsword wand, which I'll put here in A tier only because of healing abilities of the wand. If you want to be healer, this is not one standard setup. If you want to be healer, absolutely you'll use wand as your main or secondary weapon. I'll talk about healing a little bit later. You will see some healing combinations. Wand greatsword is not really that peak, right, healing combination. However, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can play it after I can play greatsword longbow after Korean release. I can switch my secondary weapon instead of longbow. I can put wand and I can play with this combination for a while. You know what? Very high survivability, pretty decent damage. You feel powerful. It actually its melting skills one to into another pretty good. And under the fingers, greatsword wand feels really good. That's why I'll put it in A tier. It's not S tier, definitely not S tier. However, in general gameplay, it feels good. Wand will give you much higher survivability in this combination of weapons. Also, greatsword is not squishy at all. So check greatsword wand. I can play this combination maybe about 30 days over there on servers in Korea. It was really good. I wasn't too happy with the damage. You'll not get the best damage output. Nevertheless, it's still absolutely A tier. And then we are going here with greatsword dagger, another S tier here. Even that many people will say, come on man, it's not S tier, it's viable only in arenas or stuff like that. No, I disagree. Greatsword dagger, many people will say, hey man, greatsword dagger is not that great in PvE. It's good. It's good in generally, when we are talking in generally about best classes of Throne and Liberty. Greatsword Dagger again belongs to S tier. Very high damage output, very nice diversity of beautiful skills to play. Again, Dagger as a secondary weapon, however, it's not only about Dagger. Greatsword itself, if you want to play melee class, in generally PvE wise and PvP wise, check Greatsword Dagger. You will excel in arenas. Arenas will be very nice for you. 1 versus 1 PvP in generally, but in generally in PvP. Not that much in sieges. If you want to go for siege, then use sword and shield greatsword. For example, that is my recommendation. If you want to play more PvP in massive sieges, sword and shield greatsword. However, if you want to play a little bit in arenas, maybe some open world PvP 1 versus 1, Greatsword Dagger. And like I said, even that many people will say, come on man, Greatsword Dagger will not perform that much good in PvE. It's okay, it's okay, it's making pretty decent damage. Most certainly better than A tier or B tier weapons here, right? So Greatsword Dagger, absolutely S tier. Let's go forward with another interesting combination of weapons, and that is a Longbow Wand. Bow Wand I'll put here in A tier, in my opinion still not S tier, however it has huge potential. Both of these weapons are range weapons. Longbow is a damage kind of weapon, Wand you can also heal and also make some damage, you have sleep on the wand, many other interesting skills. Longbow Wand also need to add with the latest new changes, actually from previous update regarding skill specializations, Longbow get very nice skill specializations. You can adjust very nicely vortex skill from Longbow. Also, Longbow have healing abilities, some additional healing abilities. So, if you want to be healer in this game, absolutely I'll put this combination on S tier. If you want to be healer, then we are talking about this. Longbow Wand for healing, it's S tier. But overall looking, I'll put it here in A tier. So we need to be clear on that. If you want to be healer, this is S tier combination of weapons, Longbow Wand. However, if you want to make also damage, right, damage and heal a little bit, I'll put it here in A tier. A tier is still very good, and I need to put this combination on A tier because next combination of weapons, I'll put in S tier. We are talking here about Longbow Staff. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. Staff have get buffed in generally regarding damage overall looking, and Longbow have get buffed not only regarding skill specializations regarding damage, also regarding remove CC skill, which also can heal you. Also two other abilities of Longbow. Longbow is not healing weapon, to make that clear. However, there are free skills which can heal you, regenerate your HP to some point, and also for your party members, right? Some of these skills. So, Longbow Staff currently in the game over there on servers in Korea, and one day in the future for global version of the game, absolutely belongs to S tier. I'm preparing special videos on my YouTube channel regarding different kind of combination of weapons, when I will take a little bit more deep dive regarding different combinations. Longbow Staff, range combination, very powerful. You can also heal a little bit yourself with Longbow Staff, currently feeling very powerful. S tier, absolutely, in generally talking, PvP wise and PvE wise. Let's go forward with another interesting combination of weapons, combination which you would say will not fit together, but I will put it anyway in A tier. We are talking here about a Longbow crossbow. I can play this combination about a month, maybe even a little bit more. Now, what is interesting with this combination of weapons? It's interesting that crossbow doesn't have so big range as a longbow. A longbow is one real range weapon. Crossbow, on the other side, is medium range weapon. It's not melee, definitely, but then again, crossbow is not really a range weapon. It's some kind of in the between, right? It's medium weapon. Now, when you play this combination of weapons, it feels actually pretty good. It feels a little bit strange sometimes because of difference in range. Sometimes, for example, if you're not using your rotation of the skills correctly, your character, let's say you start with some skills with a longbow, then your character needs to get closer. It's walking closer to the target because crossbow doesn't have the same range like a longbow. Nevertheless, in general, it felt actually pretty good. Damage is also pretty nice, maybe a little bit squishy, but with the latest new changes regarding healing abilities of longbow, a little bit buffed, it feels actually pretty good. So A tier for longbow crossbow, a range medium combination, definitely not a melee, very powerful, very nice skill rotation, very nice damage output, a little bit squishy, but in general very satisfying gameplay in both PvP and PvE. Let's go forward with another interesting combination of weapons here. This is crossbow staff. Only because of staff, I'll put this combination again here. Again, one combination of medium range weapon, crossbow, with a range weapon, a real range weapon staff. Staff, again, very powerful currently on servers in Korea. They didn't nerf staff, if you're asking that, right? So crossbow staff, I didn't play much, but what I have seen from experience of other players, definitely doesn't belong to S tier. no S tier. However, it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. Damage output, little bit squishy. Yes, you are. However, you will not have issues regarding mana, at least. I mean, crossbow is spending lots of mana. All of the weapons in this game are spending lots of mana, except staff. Staff is regenerating mana for you. So, crossbow staff, very nice combination of weapons. I will not put it in S tier. I'll put it in A tier. Check it out if you want to try to play one medium range kind of combination of weapons. Let's go forward with another interesting combination of weapons which players are not playing that much, because you can see here wand. Wand is a healing weapon, so you want to be a healer, then you will not use crossbow as your secondary or your main weapon. I'll put this combination in A tier because if well geared, crossbow is still very powerful in the game. People are talking that crossbow have get nerfed. Don't believe that. Maybe just a little bit. Average damage of crossbow did get a little bit nerfed. But in generally, no, not that much. You know, it's not the true, right? Crossbow is still very, very powerful. Developers of this game, NCSoft, they want to nerf crossbow. People were complaining about crossbow. Still, crossbow feels pretty good under the fingers. Wand will give you survivability, healing abilities. So like I said, if you want to be healer, there are some much better combination of weapons, right? You want to play a wand staff. You want to play wand longbow. Wand crossbow, you can still heal. You can still heal and make damage. That's why I'll put it in A tier, but it's not the best out of the best. And then we are going with another amazing combination of weapons, which actually, in my opinion, didn't get that much nerfed. Crossbow dagger, many people were complaining all the time about crossbow dagger. In general gameplay, single target, high DPS output, amazing combination of weapons. Fast-paced, feels good under the fingers. I know that many people would maybe put this in A tier. I disagree. I totally disagree. Crossbow dagger belongs to S tier. When we are talking about the best combinations of weapons currently in the game, universally talking, I'm not talking here specifically about PvP or PvE, because many people will say, hey man, that combination is not good in PvP, but it's very good in PvE, or opposite. I'm talking in generally. Crossbow dagger, amazing. Gameplay of this combination, I would explain under the fingers. When you play it, it feels so good. Sword and shield dagger, for example, that combination of weapons also feels amazing under the fingers, but you need to check crossbow dagger. So fast paced. If you have high ping, don't try even to play crossbow dagger. You need very low ping. This would be some kind of assassin combination of weapons. Mid-range, sound skills, close range, buff from dagger regarding critical damage and damage overall. Crossbow also, very nice damage. Check it out, without any doubt, one of the best combinations currently in the game. Even that many people would put it, like I said, in A tier. Then we are talking about staff, wand. This is a healing combination of weapons. So regarding healing, this combination of weapons is going here. I'll put it here on S tier, mostly because of healing, but not only regarding healing, because staff with wand going perfectly. This combination is going so good together. You not have issues with mana. You can make damage, very nice damage overall because of staff. No issues regarding mana. You can also heal. Very useful skill combination. That's why I will put it here on S tier. Maybe some people would put it here on A tier. Absolutely, I do understand that. However, if you want to heal and also make damage, be very useful to your party, to your guild, check staff wand. Let's go forward with staff dagger, another amazing combination of weapons. Probably you are wondering, will I put it here to A tier or S tier? Let's go S tier. Let's go S tier. I cannot put it in A tier. I cannot, because staff is so good right now on servers in Korea. Skills of the staff in general. Dagger again. People are talking, did they nerf dagger? I mean, look, honestly here, dagger with anything works very good. Secondary weapon, dagger. I could try to play a little bit for fun, dagger as main weapon. I could try to play sword and shield dagger on opposite way. I can use more skills of dagger than sword and shield. It's going. I can also try to play dagger greatsword. Not greatsword dagger, but dagger greatsword. You'll say it's the same. It is the same and it's not the same. You can use dagger skills more. Now, dagger as a main weapon, you can still play, but I do not recommend. Dagger is perfect for secondary weapon. Staff dagger, amazing. PvP wise, PvE wise, you'll be fine. You'll make high damage output, a very high burst. You can melt anybody in a few seconds, right? So check Staff Dagger. Then we are going with Wand Dagger. Again, I kind of want to put it in S tier, but I will not put it in S tier. I'll put it here in A tier. Wand Dagger, healing weapon. Then you're getting crit, right, from the dagger. Again, if you want to be healer, there are some better combination of weapons. You can go staff, you can go longbow, maybe you want to go paladin, sword and shield wand combination. Dagger, still not a bad choice. That's why I will not put it here in B tier, absolutely not. If well geared and you know how to play it, wand dagger, absolutely viable to play. And on the end, we have here sword and shield, a longbow. One, I would say, very strange combination of weapons. I have tried to play it a little bit. I'll put it in B tier. I know that many players would say, come on man, maybe this would be A tier. Not really. Sword and shield, if you want to play tank, you have much better combination of weapons to play. This combination is combination of one melee weapon and range weapon. If you want to have higher damage, you will use sword and shield dagger, or longbow dagger, or longbow staff, or sword and shield greatsword, or sword and shield dagger. Sword and shield bow doesn't feel right as a combination. When you play it, actually, it's not bad. Surprisingly, it's not bad, so still viable. You can see, right, this overall now ranking list, right, tier list of different kind of classes. Take in consideration that everything depends on your gameplay style. This is not PvP list. This is not PvE list. This is not healer, tank, or DPS list. Don't forget that. This is overall list of best classes of Throne and Liberty. If you want to be tank, then you play Sword and Shield Greatsword, Sword and Shield Dagger, Sword and Shield Wand. If you want to play healer, then Staff Wand, a Longbow Wand, right? All depends what you want to play. Even these combinations which we have here in B tier, Greatsword Longbow, Sword and Shield Crossbow, Greatsword Staff, Sword and Shield Longbow, even these combinations potentially could be A tier. Absolutely they could, if geared well and if you know how to play it, right? If you know how to play it, combinations, any combination is viable in the game. Currently you can see S tier, I can put many combinations in S tier. This is true. All depends on your gameplay style, all depends, do you want to play PvP or PvE? Do you want to tank, heal, or do you want to be DPS? All depends what do you want to be. However, in general, right, you can see many different kind of combinations of weapons are currently viable in the game. All depends on your gameplay style, and on the end of the day, yes, all depends on your gear. You need to gear up, work on your traits, runes, all the systems which make better power of your character, and then almost any combination of weapons, not every combination of weapons can be S tier, you can for sure be A tier. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, for this evening, this is my tier list of best classes of Throne and Liberty currently on servers in Korea. If you are interested into Throne and Liberty, check my YouTube channel. I'm preparing lots of videos, guides for new players, meta builds regarding different kind of roles. Also, when I see some new in-game features over there on servers in Korea, I will let you know about that instantly here on my YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch, and see you soon with another Throne and Liberty video. I'm preparing lots of guides for new players for global release of this game, so stay tuned here on my YouTube channel. See you soon.